Avengers! Assemble.
Yeah, that was a cool and epic scene, wasn't it? Do you also like movies as much as I do? But do you also ask yourself sometimes what Hollywood has to offer besides all these big franchises and action blockbusters like Avengers Endgame and stuff like that? Then this video is perfect for you. Today I want to show you 5 unconventional movies you can directly watch on Netflix after this video. Maybe there are some you never heard of or new discoveries you make. But before that, please consider subscribing and like this video if you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate it. I make videos every second Sunday and it would really help me. Thanks, and now let's start. The first movie I want to present to you is the 2015 flick Room. A young mother, beautifully played by Brie Larson, who was kidnapped by an older guy and locked into a single room, becomes pregnant and gives birth to a baby. The movie starts when the kid is 5 years old, and in its first half it explores the relationship between a locked up mother and her son. How does a human being who never saw the outside world think of this world? Or how does he see the room he's locked into? How does he imaginate the outside world from merely stories from his mother? How does a young kid behave when he never got into contact with other people besides his mother and his kidnapper? And of course, how can a mother possibly react to all of those circumstances? How will she teach him? How will she raise him in general? The performance of the young actor is phenomenal in this movie, and he surely has a bright future ahead of him. And in the second half of the movie, it turns into a character study of a young woman who has to deal with becoming a mother at this young age and having been kept hostage a big part of her life. So after all, I can't say much more about this story without spoiling too much. Just watch this movie for yourself. When I first watched it, I was pleasantly surprised by the depth of the story and characters and the sad but interesting character studies of a young woman and a boy that were kept hostage their whole lives.
Same one, just a different spot.
No matter how sweet the song.
I've been in the world 37 hours.
That's us.
The second movie is fairly similar in the overall theme, but in a far more relaxing and funny way, I would say. Juno stars the young Elliot Page as a girl who is pregnant and doesn't want to have the baby. But instead of aborting a young life, she decides to seek for parents who want to adopt her future baby. This movie, at least in my opinion, is another interesting character study. This time from the perspective of a mother-to-be. She has a boyfriend on her side, played by Michael Cera, and over the span of the movie she finds out more about a couple who wants to adopt a baby, and how to deal with parenthood and new and old exciting relationships. The movie is very limited in regards to the world it creates, but it perfectly tells a story in this world. Juno is a great movie you can watch in just 1.5 hours, so you can directly start after this video.
Fox Searchlight Pictures presents a comedy about life.
Boy, I thought you were the kind of girl who knew when to say when.
I don't really know what kind of girl I am.
For the third movie I chose something more frightening. In the A24 flick The Witch, Anya Taylor-Joy, recently starring in The Queen's Gambit, also a great Netflix miniseries, is the main actress. She plays a young woman in the mid-16th century in New England. Her family lives a very simple and isolated life in the wilderness of an American continent that is not as nearly as explored as today. When the youngest son of this traditional family mysteriously disappears, everyone thinks the daughter is responsible for it and that she is working together with a witch in a local forest or even the devil itself. More and more, a horrifying story spins, and besides the family drama, a darker and more dangerous monster rises. This film is so different from many other classical horror movies I've watched in my life. It doesn't rely on jump scares, but rather explores a family drama where everyone mistrusts each other. The horror comes from the unknown, from the atmosphere that is being built up, and from the setting of a lonely house in the middle of nowhere. And of course, all the actors do a brilliant job too.
God, my Lord, I now begin. Oh, help me and don't leave my sin. For I repentant now shall be. From evil I will turn to thee. None ever shall destroy my faith. For I repentant now shall be. Oh God, my Lord, I now begin. Oh, help me and don't leave my sin. For I repentant now shall be. From evil I will turn to thee.
Receive the report.
Another movie I would consider to be a very special horror experience is Climax. This movie is definitely not something for everyone, and it's definitely the most artsy flick on this list. Even I would not recommend this film if you are in a certain situation in life or not in the right mood, or for example if you have epilepsy. Summarizing Climax is also not that easy. In its core, this movie is a thriller that starts as a dance act and evolves into a drug-like experience. The director, Gaspar Noé, a French and Argentinian filmmaker, creates surreal worlds and deep insights into the human nature. But on the other hand, it sometimes also shows us what drugs can do to people and in what way they can harm people and their relationship to other human beings. A very interesting but special movie. You really have to be in the mood to watch something like this, but when you are, it evolves into a great experience with shots that you will never forget. For my last movie on this list, I picked a flick from my home country, Germany. Yeah, System Crasher, a film that was nominated for the Best Foreign Language Film of the Year at the 2020 Oscars, deals with very interesting and often ignored themes of our society. It basically shows the life of a young girl who has problems controlling her emotions and her anger. She is very aggressive and can't handle other people very well. Because of that, she was taken from her mother, since her mother also couldn't handle her, while simultaneously having to raise two other children. The movie explores the development of this unpredictable child and the relationship she has with her person in charge. Bernadette, played by Helena Zengel, is a character you can really hate in some moments, but on the other hand, you can really feel with her in other situations too. The actress is one of the many reasons this film is so good. She perfectly plays this young girl with so much emotion and passion. One note here, you have to turn on subtitles if you want to watch this motion picture, since it's only available in German. But honestly, it's really worth it. So that's it for this list. What unconventional movies would you recommend? Write them down in the comments, I'm really interested. Also, if you want to see what other movies I'm watching and which of them I would recommend, you can follow me on Letterboxd. I post reviews and diary entries there every now and then. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. It would really help me do more of this stuff. Thank you, and of course, enjoy all of the movies I talked about today.
Assemble.